Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Kareen. Hope you're ready for another fun crafting session here. So today we're playing with another technique using embossing folders. Essentially, it's taking your embossing folder, adding some color, but adding extra depth. Actually in a really easy and kind of fun way. So these are the ones that I did for the demo. This one is a balloon embossing folder. It's really cute. And so I did the technique and then I went in and I added glossy accents on top of all of the balloons and it came out so cool. I'm really happy with this one. Then I also added a little bit of glossy accents and blingy dingy for the ladies' lips and their jewelry there. So that's the first one that I did. Second one, this is kind of like a basket weave embossing folder. And yeah, so kind of bringing out that texture to actually make it look a bit like a basket. Yeah, so I'm gonna demo this one today for sure. And then this one is like a sea um, scape, whatever. Yeah, it's got like some seashells and some seaweed and things like that. Did that one as well. Okay, so those are going to be the example. Those are the examples of showing you kind of where we're going. So the first one that I'm going to start with, I'm going to do the hmm, which one to start with? Well, let's start with the basket weave one because you've already kind of seen it done. So this is what it looks like. So this is obviously just a piece of white cardstock. I've already embossed it, so you guys don't have to wait for me to do that. Okay. So this is a piece of white cardstock that I've put through. This is the front of the car of the this is the embossed side. I'm going to turn it over and use the debossed side. Okay. And then what I'm going to be using is various dye-based inks. Okay, so I've got a few here. These are my Lavinia elements. So these dye-based means water-based. So you wouldn't want to alcohol. You could alcohol ink with these, or you could use them for watercoloring, etc., etc. So I'm choosing colors that I think will make a nice kind of a baskety, textury. My camera is kind of a little wonky there. Sorry, guys. There. Maybe that's a little better. We'll see. Okay. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using. So, sorry, excuse me. I've got Sundance, Sahara, Russet Orange, and Paprika. And these are the colors that I'm going to use to start with, to start the technique. And I'm using a smaller blending brush. This one would be okay if I use the bigger blending brushes, that would be okay. But for some of these smaller items, like for example, this one, like trying to get into some of those smaller areas without getting color in everything else, the smaller ones work much, much easier. Okay, so I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is the Sundance. And I'm going to come in here, dabbing off, and I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add in my color. And this is actually going to be my base color all over the whole thing. Okay. And it doesn't matter how well you blend. It doesn't have to be great, doesn't have to be a perfect blend. In fact, because the end part of the technique is kind of going to fix any boo-boos or whatever you want to call it. So for right now, I'm just taking and just laying down some color. And this particular color, I kind of like to have on this particular background, I like to have it kind of everywhere, just kind of saturating and as a nice base. So, and if you haven't seen this before, I often, when I'm using my blending brushes, instead of tapping off onto my surface, because I very rarely do ink smooshing or something like that, in order to not waste my product, I dab it off into my lid, because I will often use my lid as for watercoloring. I put a little spritz of water in there, and then I can swirl around, and I've already got a lot of color in there. So whatever I'm tapping off of my brushes is not being wasted. It will be utilized at a later date versus I don't tend to use whatever ends up uh on my mat or my crafting surface very much. Okay, so I've covered basically the whole thing so far with Sundance, and you can say, you can clearly see this is one heck of a hot mess, right? You're like, oh my God, green, what have you done? That's okay. Don't worry about it. So now I'm just going to give my blending brush a little bit of a wipe here, and I'm now going to go into Sahara, which is a bit more of a kind of a tanny, like a brown, with a little bit of green almost. I'm going to go in and add this color in as well. And again, it doesn't have to be a perfect blend. None of that will matter with the final part of the technique. Just adding in colors, following some of those. You can go, you don't have to do it in circular motions. That's just a habit that I've gotten into when I'm adding in inks and things like that. But by adding this in, like I can follow the lines here, making sure that I've got a little bit more in some areas like that. Turn this around. Okay. Essentially, what we're trying to do by adding these differing layers of color, we're trying to push it into the background so that when we do the final technique, there will be other levels of texture, right? Because differing shades of color, right? So if you've watched any of the Lavinia videos that I show, anything that's really dark and bright or dark comes to the front, right? And then anything that is second generation, third generation, or a lighter color goes to the back. So black would be at the front, and then your lighter colors are at the are behind, right? So by having these differing layers, so even here right now, it's starting to look textured, which is what we want. We want it to look textured. Okay, let's give that a clean here. Now, I'm also going to use this same brush for my russet orange. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a wipe. I don't have as many of these little brushes as I do my other blending brushes. Okay, so now with the red and then with the orange, like with the paprika and with the orange, I do want to be a little bit more intentional with these ones because not a lot of wicker has like orange and, red in it. But again, I'm wanting to add in a couple of deeper tones just to change up the the background and help add in differing shades. But I'm inking up, but then I'm also taking it off because I don't want to have like a big sploosh of orange. I think I want a little bit over here. Okay. See that there? Cool. All right. And I'm going to switch over now to my red brush for the paprika. Okay, and again, same process with this one. Don't want to have a ton on my brush. So I'm just going to come in here. So that wasn't that much that I added on there. Okay, so here's where our panel is so far. Now for the call it the magic, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I'm going to take two colors. So I've got, this is henna, and then I've also got truffle. So this is kind of a brown, and then this is also like a deepery brownish, brownish red color. So these are some, I'll just kind of give you a show here to see what kind of colors it is. So I've got this one here. This is the henna, and then this is the truffle. So this one here is the truffle. That one's the henna. So it's almost like a purpley brown color. Okay. So I'm going to come in with the truffle first, and I'm going to take my ink pad and I want to hold it flat, and I'm just going to kind of drag it across the top, just like this. And again, this is why it doesn't matter what your blending looks like. So, and you can drag it from different sides, different directions. But again, you want to try and keep it as flat as possible because you don't want to be pushing it down and covering up all of the areas that you've just gone and ink blended on, right? So let's wipe that up there. Okay, so that's the first layer. Okay, so already pretty cool, right? Like it's a nice texture, looks like a basket almost. So now though, what I want to do is I'm going to take the henna and I'm just going to come in some of the other areas, just make it a little darker in a few areas. Not everywhere. And you can see here I got a quite of a dark spot. So I'm going to wipe that with the edge. Now, put my lid back on so I don't stick my fingers too badly in there. Okay, wipe that up. Yeah, look at the texture that we've got on there. And then it highlights it all. So this is where we started, right? This is the emboss side. We use the deboss side. And if we wanted, so I've got a black here, it's actually graphite, but if we wanted, we could even go in with a black in a couple of spots if we felt like we needed something just a little darker. Like that there. Okay, that's the first panel. So I'm going to put that to the side to kind of dry a little bit, and I'm going to work on the second panel. So this particular one here is one of my Simon Says Stamp embossing folders. So you can just see I've used it quite a bit. It's kind of the trees, and then it's got a skyline background here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at there. All right. But again, I'm not using this. This would be the emboss side. I'm turning it over to the deboss side, which is where it's been pushed into the paper, not lifted, but pushed into the paper. And the colors that I'm going to use on this one are lime punch, pine, and green sleeves for my trees. So again, I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is the lime punch. Doesn't matter that I'm getting it outside. So again, it doesn't matter that it's not that it's like that it's covering over top of the tree. That's fine. It's not going to make a difference with the end technique. That will be covered. All I want to do though is go in and make sure that I have this green color in all of the right branches here. Okay. And then I think I want to do this one as well in the lighter green. And you can see here at the top, I didn't tap it off quite enough, but I've got like a pretty big splooch there right at the top, but that's okay. That will be fixed when we do the end part of the technique. So I'm gonna give this a bit of a buff here, and we're gonna go in with the green sleeves. Okay, and we're gonna do this one. So you can see that this green sleeves, despite the color on the outside, which is why it's always really important to swatch your colors. Like it is that color, but it looks like it's much lighter. But when you actually put it on paper, it looks like it's quite the yellowy green. So you definitely want to make sure that you're swatching your colors so then you actually know which color, what you're actually going to get when you put it down. Okay, one. And then the other three trees that are here, I'm going to use pine for. This really beautiful, kind of a bright greenish color. Not greenish, it is a green color. Now, some of these background ones are very, very faint, the leaves and the impression from the embossing, but that's okay. Because again, it's not about the perfection of what this is going to look like. In the end, and I didn't do a practice one on this one, so I have no idea what this is going to end up looking like because there's quite a bit of empty area up here that we will need to cover. So it's going to be a bit of a experiment as we do this one. I mean, obviously all of the ones that I had done the other day as in prep for the video were all experiments, but I know how the basket weave one turns out. So it was okay to practice with this one. This one is doing it live, guys. You know, get oh no, there's a bit of a missing one there. Let's get that a little deeper in there too. Okay, alrighty. Now, I was going to use browns for this, but I think I would prefer to use a navy, maybe the navy and the black. So let me just grab that here. I'm going to put these aside so that I don't keep putting my finger in them. Okay, so the color that I'm going to be using is dark denim. That's the one that I'm going to start with, and then I'll probably finish off with some of the black. But let's start with, so first of all, I want to make sure that I'm coming in and am, oop, oop, okay, that took a lot. So I'm just going to swipe it easily. It's a huge. Okay, so what you don't want to be doing then is putting your ink pad just down like that and then having it get stuck to your surface. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it dark enough now to kind of cover that, but that's okay. Here we go. This is why we're doing it live because, that's what happens. So I'm trying to drag, I'm not trying, I am dragging this over the top. Again, keeping my pad as flat as possible, right? Because I want to make sure that it's not going down into all of the areas where I've got where I've placed my ink. Okay. So let's get some blue on this corner. Turn this around a little bit so if I can get a bit of a deeper color going right here. Kind of drag that down, see if we can fix this because that was a big chunk of blue. Oh, yeah, okay, that might work actually. It might still work, might still work. Okay. Well, we'll pick all that up. Well, need some water. Water. Here we go. There's a lot of blue. Okay, so here's where we're at. So you can still see this really dark area here, but what's really cool is that the blue hasn't covered everything. So even though this particular tree and this one are not like you can even see from the other side, they're not super well embossed. Like they don't get pushed in very much. They're very surface because it's a 3D embossing folder. So these ones down here are really deep, and then these ones are a little bit more surface, but you can still see the green in it, right? And so if I were to take my black now and kind of come in a couple of these areas, I can kind of darken it just a little bit to help that blue not stand out quite so much. Not bad, not bad. I may have fixed it enough for myself to make a card. Woo. Now, theoretically, I believe the Lavinia inks are supposed to be water reactive. So I wonder if I go and do, oh yeah, cool. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that, but I kind of did a few spritzes. So I'm going to make that look a bit like a night sky then. Yeah. Ooh. All right. And I have some white paint that I'm also going to add into that. Get some splooshies from that. But first, I need to trim this panel down. I don't think that I cut these for card bases. Nope, 4 1/4, 5 1/2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these down. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch, nope, 1/4 inch off of the top here. That. And then I think I'm going to take also take it off of this side. Nope, I'm going to take it off both sides then, I guess. So I'm going to bring this down to 4 inches then. Okay, so this is now 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to need to do the same thing with this thing, pretty sure. Okay, so I'm just going to catch the edge a little bit on this side. Okay, and come over here. There's 4 right there. Okay, and a little bit on that side. And a little bit off of that. Okay. All right, let's do this part first so that I can dry it. Where's the white paint? White paint, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of these Dina Wakley Media Acrylic White Paint. And I'm just going to add a little bit here to my craft mat. I don't need a lot because I'm not planning on doing a lot, but I just want to make these as some stars. And I'm going to add a little bit of white, or sorry, a little bit of white. I'm going to add a little bit of water. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm just going to mix that into the white. Should be using a splat box here, but I'm not going to because who rolls that way? Okay. Now I'm going to use a block. I should have mixed this actually like right on the block here, but okay. And I don't want these to look like snow. I'm not doing snow. I want stars. So I'm trying not to get them on the trees too much. I just want a starry night sky. So that's the first layer there. All right. Let's see if I can get another even better. Whoop, 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 whoop. Cool. All right. Clean that up now. And put that to the side. And I'm going to wash my brush. And you all know that I'm the lazy brush washer here. So, although my next organization video is actually going to be about how to clean. It's very funny as you guys are watching me do this, but it's going to be about how to clean your ink blending brushes. What I need a baby wipe for. Great. Okay. And we have a clean-ish work surface, so that's good. To the side there. Now this is going to need to dry a little bit, so I'm just going to pull out my heat tool here, give it a quick dry. And this was just used, I just did this technique in which had a lot of ink on it, right? And I just did that using regular cardstock. It was probably Accent Opaque 80 pound, I think. Okay. All right. So that one's dry. I'm just gonna kind of rough it into shape here. And let's pull out some, let's finish these guys. All right. So I'm thinking on the black. Now we could do craft with this one, although I'd have to trim it down some more, but it doesn't really pop off of there. Actually, craft could be nice on this one. No, I don't like it. I don't like the craft. Okay. So not the craft. Good to know. Put that back in there. Now we could do like I did with the other one, the black. This was really nice on the black. I think it really pops on there. So I'm probably going to keep that one black again. But I think for this one, we have a couple of different choices. So I've got this really beautiful navy, but I think that that just really blends into, like you can't even see the card on that. So I didn't think that that's going to be a great idea for that one. Let me see here. I did have, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Nope, that's not the right one. I had like a bright green one. What the heck did I do with it? Oh, sorry guys. Did have a bright green one. Music, there it is right there. That could be kind of funky. Now that really pops off of there. That's quite lovely, actually. That's nice. So I like that one, or we could also just do it on plain and simple. Come on, plain and simple white as well. So that's on the white. I don't know. I like the green. What do you guys think? Yeah, I don't have a ton of the green left, but I really I love this shade of like the navy and green together. It is so nice. I think it really pops with the trees too. So I think I'm gonna do that. Was not what I was anticipating, but let's go with it. Okay. So first things first, I'm gonna check and make sure my card base is opening the correct way, and it is. So now I'm gonna glue this down. And because this is the embossing folder, I tend to kind of try and get it, my liquid adhesive to hit in all of the high spots, because that's actually where the glue is going to hit, right? So, and you can see actually how well saturated that got, because look, you can see all of the black and the darker colored inks. Okay. Yeah, sure that fits on there, right? Good enough. Mhm. Okay, I'm going to stick this one down, and then I'm going to put a block on top of this one just to kind of help flatten it out a little bit. I don't actually want to put too much. Um, Oftentimes when you've used a lot of water, it's a good idea to use a foam tape because it'll help straighten out your cardstock, but I didn't really want to use that for this one. So I'm going to put a block on it while it's sticking down, and hopefully that will help the adhesive like grab and then kind of just stay straight. Whoop. And wait on that. There we go, like that. Okay. So what I had pulled out, so let's finish these guys. So what I had pulled out is I have this absolutely hilarious. I have a couple of little people here, or well, they're not people, they're little critters. And I'm thinking I like this hello and I like this hi. So those would be really kind of cute. So this hi down here, and I can actually put a little bit of yellow or brown on there to kind of offset how bright white it is. But then I've got these really cute like this little shark there. He could go kind of like that. Hi. Very cute. He could also be like that, more off to the side. Hi. It's also nice with the hello, right? And I have it framed kind of like that. That's kind of cute. So I have that. I also have these really cute pandas that could go in the hi or hello. So that. And I also have I also have a little elephant here too, which is really cute. So like hello, hello. That's kind of cute, actually. I don't know. Do I like the shark better or do I like the elephant? I think I like the shark because he's kind of like this grayish color. And I don't know, do I like the oh, yeah, that's kind of cute, hey? Yeah, I like that. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. These guys to the side. And like I said, I want to take a little bit of the brightness off of this. So I'm going to pull out some chalk ink. This one's called chestnut color, and these are color box cat's eyes. These you can't get these anymore because unfortunately they went out of business, but you can see that they're excellent for just chalking and catching the edge. And so basically I'm taking off that it'll help separate it, but it also gives it a little bit of a distressed look, kind of grunges it up just a little bit, which helps on all of this brown, right? Now it doesn't look quite so stark on there. Okay. And I'm also going to take where is my Sharpie? It's my Sharpie right there. Okay. And for my shark, I'm going to come along from the back and I want to outline him in the black. Okay. This just kind of helps give it a fresh, a finished edge to any of your kind of critter or die cuts that you're using. And I'm going from the back. This way then, if my pen slips, I kind of do along the back instead of along the front of my image. So and all I'm doing is just kind of taking it around the edge to kind of just help finish it off a little bit. Give it that little finished edge, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Oh dear. One of those days. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it's a very subtle edge, but it does help to kind of finish it off. So I like that together, and I kind of like it being a little cockeyed there. Okay. And now these I could actually pop up with some foam tape here. My foam tape scissors. So the high, let's go the H like that. Oh, gonna need another thing of foam tape here. This down the center. And like that. Okay, so let's stick this one down first. Release papers are the bane of my crafting. Oh, that's not quite true, actually. Cleaning my craft room is the bane of my crafting. But this is top 10. Okay. So I like that. I like that. What's nice is that the having the sentiment a little off center works because of the basket weave in the background. And let's pull a thicker one. I do. There we go. Okay, so let's do this. Just kind of trying to catch most of the edges here. So that it'll stick up fairly well. Most of the high edges or the yeah, it should be okay. That's not seen there. Good. Yeah, you want to be able to kind of catch the majority of it so that you're if you're mailing this, it doesn't get crushed in the mail or anything like that. Or release papers. Two, three more. Two and one. It's cute. Okay, so there's first card there. So we'll just kind of push that to the side there and move that over. Now, let's have a look at this one. I'm pretty happy with how this has come out. So we've got this really nice blank spot up here. Now, obviously, like this kind of sentiment, I mean, it could work, but it's huge. It takes up so much of the background. Now on this, we didn't have any kind of focal point. So which is why I pulled out like a bigger sentiment and why I pulled out like an image that I've colored or like a critter or a something to add on there because this is more of a background. This is a background, but it's also got a focal image. So you want to keep, I like to, you don't have to, but I like to keep my sentiment someplace that fits in here. Okay. So I have some of these just foiled sentiment strips and thinking. So this is what's interesting is this was also foiled because I hot foiled these using my hot foil press and rainbow I guess it would be a rainbow foil. And then I did these along the strips. So this is all green. So one says have a wonderful birthday, and the other one is congratulations. So this have a wonderful birthday could come here, but it's pretty long. But if I were to snip this at congratulations, so congratulations, like that, and then do maybe like a flag, a little bit of a, it's not really a flag, it's a edge, but this could be a really lovely congratulations card, just like that. But again, first, what I want to do is I want to take down that it's pretty bright, right? So I'm going to bring in my, this is the black, so I chalk ink. So and again, if you remember from the chalk video or from the inking videos, chalk-based ink is the first letter, right? So the CDPs or the ABCs of inks. Chalk ink is the very first letter, so it dries the quickest. Dye-based ink will also dry quicker than pigment-based inks. So this chalk-based ink, I can do like this and put this back on there. And it's dry. It's not going to leave any marks or anything on my paper. So you can see that that did help tone it down a little bit, which is great. And let's go. I think this is thin enough. I think we're going to put a little bit of foam tape behind that. Oh, it's just thin enough. That was lucky. Okay. Bugger this up here because that's very thin. Oh, I'm lying here. It's not actually. I don't think of a thinner one. Okay, well, we're gonna do foam tape surgery here. And this is where you end up getting very sticky on your scissors, but that's okay. So I want to come up the center. This, so I'm just gonna cut this in half because I'm concerned that the foam tape is too thick, but I do want to pop up my sentiment just a little bit. So I'm gonna cut that in half, roughly in half, and then I come behind like so. Then I've got this other piece that I can also put down here, like so. I'm just gonna have to cut off that end there. Fingers out of those scissors because they're very sharp. All right, now I'm going to pull the release paper off. I'm actually going to use my tweezers just so that I can kind of visualize where this is going to go. I like it coming right out from the green card. covering up the beginning part of the navy there. Oh, and I think I might have even managed to get that straight. Hot diggity do. Okay. And then now this card doesn't actually need anything else. It's got lovely space. It's got some of the detail in the background, some depth. Inside I could be like, congratulations, happy birthday, congratulations on your retirement, congratulations on your uh, baby, whatever. That can obviously follow up afterwards, but the front of this card. Now I could do a couple of little gems on here if I wanted, but I'm not sure if this is going to go to a guy or a girl. And so I don't tend to put a lot of gems on a lot of masculine cards, and this could qualify for either. So even with the little bit of, that little bit of shine on the foil, that's okay. There's a little bit of shine in the background because I had some mica, perfect pearls in here. So the little stars have a little bit of shine to them. But yeah. All right, guys, let me pull in our cards. So these are the two that we made today using this technique and two different embossing folders. Obviously, this one is the same embossing folder, but look at so I did basically the same colors, two very different looks. Well, not very different. It's the same embossing folder, but just depending on where you're adding the color, the tones, and how you add your shades and everything to the back, there you go. This one's quite a bit lighter compared to this one. So, and then we have the balloons and the seashells. That's going to be our class today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a great time playing with this and fixing my oops on this. That was kind of fun. It's always not fun to do it in front of you guys, but hey, it's not Hallmark. And that's sometimes what happens. So you got to figure out how you're going to fix stuff without necessarily having to turf it. I mean, it's just paper, so it's not the end of the world, but it's always a good time when you've maybe made a mistake. Let me see how I can fix that first using what you've already got, because you never know, you might be able to fix it. And I'm pretty tickled with how that came out. It was a surprise, and I'm tickled with how that came out. So yeah, really happy with what we made today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comments section. Remember to keep it kind. If you like the video, please do give it a like, a thumbs up. I'd love for you to subscribe, pass it along to your friends as well. More the merrier. Take care, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.